The first step to being in a calorie deficit is eliminating calorie-containing drinks.
Do not drink your calories if you're trying to lose weight.
One of the things that I do feel passionately about is if we didn't drink our calories.
Stop drinking your calories.
Don't drink your food.
Don't drink your calories.
Stop drinking your calories.
I have two different drinks. I made these today and I'm planning on having to drink them today because I don't like wasting food. There's two major differences between them. This one's a water base, this one's a milk base. This one has a whole apple as its final ingredient. This one has peanut butter, about 40 grams of peanut butter to be specific, about a spoonful. All my life I've heard stuff like don't drink your calories. It's one of the biggest suggestions I've gotten in terms of trying to lose weight. Me as a morbidly yet whimsically obese person, I've heard pretty much all the different weight loss tips you can think of, all the different miracle foods and supplements and things of that nature. This first point, it's true, but there's situations where it's, it's okay. It's not like you can't drink your calories. You got to be careful. Now, this one right here has this many calories versus this one's calories. Not only that, if you look at the macros, here's the macros for this one, and here's the macros for this one. Pause if you need a little bit more time. Notice that they're both very similar in their carbohydrate content, and notice that they're pretty similar in their dietary fiber content. So overall, these would both probably fill you up about the same. The base problem is the mindset behind it. I'm really gonna want this one because I'm a fan of peanut butter, I'm a fan of milk, I'm a fan of bananas and making like protein smoothies like this. The flavors are gonna be better overall because this is loaded with fat versus this one, which is going to be satisfying, but it's just fruits and veggies and water. That's pretty much it. So the flavor that's going to come with it is going to be what it is. My point is, when I see stuff like don't drink calories as a large person, I'm not satisfied with just that piece of advice. Why can't I drink my calories? I would like to know that. A lot of this weight loss advice that I see doesn't address the mindset too much. Not only that, everybody's goals are different. There's going to be reasons to drink this one over this one. So we can't disqualify all of the drinkable calories. I think there's a place for a lot of them. You got to approach things with a little bit of mindfulness. Speaking of mindfulness, now, one of the things that has been kind of following me my whole life is the fact that I usually am the first person to finish their food at their table. So naturally, one of the biggest pieces of advice I've received throughout my entire life is chew slower and be more mindful of how you eat. The mindful part is a little more modern, but same difference. Eat slow, think about it. Mindfulness. The idea being that your stomach is going to be fuller and you'll eat less food overall. And you'll even have stuff to take home probably if you're eating out. I feel this piece of advice is actually a pretty good, easy way for people to start losing weight, including myself, if I listened to it. It's still a problem I have, let's admit it. Mindfulness overall is an idea that I think more people can benefit from. It just means being aware of what it is you're doing in the moment. I've purposefully been avoiding eating this apple because I know if I start talking and eating, well, one, there's a lot of people that hate the sound of people eating, and I've got the microphone right here, so, you guys wouldn't appreciate it. But two, if I started to eat this apple, it'd probably disappear in under a minute or so because I would just sit here constantly eat it until it was gone. Mindfulness is just not being distracted. So I can get behind this piece of advice. It's, I don't got much to say about it. It's a solid piece of advice.
This is the part where I get to be really salty. It's one of those pieces of advice that a fat person hears probably a million times in their life. All you got to do is eat less and exercise more. Eat less and exercise more. Swear to God, if I hear the phrase calorie deficit one more time, and yet, hard to say it's wrong. It's pretty much the equation for losing weight. That's what you got to do. You got to eat less and you got to exercise more. But let's go back to the first piece of advice, or rather the how. See, a person like me, you would think, wouldn't have much to worry about when it comes to losing weight because, I'm standing, I can move, I can walk reasonably well, I can lift heavy things, I can get around pretty well, and I'm, for a person as heavy as I am, which I'm not going to say, but you could find it. And, I count my blessings, let's put it that way. And yet still, I've tried a million things. I still look like this. It goes back to the mindset part of it. When people tell you it's just a calorie deficit, get off your butt and just go and do something about it. Some people have things that are complicating their lives and that are keeping them from being able to do these things. It's because the mind matters. It's not simple. The solution is, but the route to the solution is a complicated journey that people have to take. And sometimes there's medical interventions, and sometimes there's psychological interventions, sometimes it's mental health, sometimes it's physical health, sometimes it's just life, and you just don't have the time because you're busy worrying about everything else. So when it comes to this piece of advice, I validate it in the fact that it's true. It is unequivocally true. You can't deny it. Calorie deficit, you're going to lose weight. And while everybody's body is going to be a little bit different in how that calorie deficit affects them, and while there are factors health-wise that can prevent people from losing weight, both genetically and stuff that they develop over time, it stands to reason that this piece of advice, it works most of the time for most people. But my problem is the delivery. People deliver this information with such arrogance sometimes that I'll just eat a cake out of spite. Why the hell am I going to listen to you if all you're going to do is tell me the equivalent of suck it up, buttercup, and just do it? Hey, there's a crowd of people that works for. But for people like myself and others, there's a different route that we got to take. So listen, great advice. The delivery could use some work.
Yeah, I'm in sweatpants. I'm comfortable. Deal with it. All right, here's a little bit of a story time. When I was a kid, my parents were very worried about me. I was heavy, even for that age. I want to say it was somewhere in my, tweens, maybe 11 through 13, somewhere around there. It was a tumultuous time in my life. I got bullied, never talked about it. And my parents noticed and were worried about my lack of socialization outside of school, and the fact that my weight was going up and up and up. To help combat that, they offered an array of suggestions, but also they would look at other sources and see if maybe there was something to it and that it would help. One fine day, we're in a store, and the people that are working at that store also happen to sell a weight loss supplement. And after much convincing, I finally, to appease my parents, said sure, I would give it a try. It was a whole thing. They took a before picture and stuff like that. I don't know. It's not a fun memory. Anyways, the supplement was supposed to be mixed in with a little bit of liquid or something like that. I was supposed to drink it. When I tell you, it tasted like straight trash, like bad. Really wanted to avoid drinking this stuff. So I lied. I told them it made me super nauseous and sick to my stomach and that I couldn't drink this stuff anymore. They go back, they tell the people what happened, and I'm not sure if they ever got a refund or not, but you know. So my history with supplements in relation to losing weight has not been a great history. There's way too many people out there trying to feed off the desperation of folks who are trying to lose weight and are willing to sell them and tell them anything they want to hear in order to be able to help them find a shortcut to their goals. Now, as discussed on the last point, yeah, there's no real shortcuts. There's, one tried and true solution followed by a couple of other things that you can do to help. That doesn't stop people from trying to find shortcuts every now and then. You can go through the history of weight loss supplements. There's all sorts of pills and powders and things that are guaranteed to burn fat, that are guaranteed to do this, that, and the other, get your metabolic rate going. And time and again, a lot of this stuff is proven to be not only potentially unsafe for people to consume, but it doesn't do the thing it tells you it's going to do. And yet still, when somebody says or sells something, people will go for it because the idea that somehow, some way, their dream could be reached that much faster is worth it to them to try this next thing. The only supplements that I trust are things that help you fill gaps in your nutrition. When it comes to supplements and weight loss and medications and weight loss, there is still no silver bullet, no real silver bullet, because there's always going to be some fine print on the bottom of the things that you are trying to take to help you shortcut yourself to your goals. Listen, there's no doubt in my mind that there are millions of people like me who are just sick and tired of being the way they are. Look at all 500 pounds of me. This has been me most of my adult life into my childhood. The last time I was under 300 pounds was probably in middle school. As much as I'm tired of looking this way and feeling this way, I'm starting to get tired of how people try to dish out some advice to us as obese people, man. Seriously, a lot of folks' delivery could use a little bit of work. Remember, underneath the layers, we are still human beings, right? So yes, most of us understand that we got this way because we ate a certain way or we didn't do enough activity. Like, I totally get it. I'm fat because of various mental health stuff and the fact that I can't put donuts down. But there's just some sort of defiant streak in me where if people come at me the wrong way, I am just more like, I'll go drive to Chipotle right now and get a burrito bowl. If someone's coming up to me and trying to dish out advice in the arrogant way that I see people do it, and I get it, some people are playing up characters and they're trying to like get people's attention and rage bait people into potentially being mad enough to make changes in their lives. Some fat people aren't going to be the bootstrap types that go ahead and pull themselves up by their laces and get the work done. Some people just need a little bit of extra care and understanding, because despite the fact that all of us are fat, we're not all created equal. If I didn't have the genetic makeup I have from my parents, I probably would be in a much worse position. One that doesn't easily allow me to be as active as I am right now and be able to move as easily as I do. We already feel guilty enough as it is for how we are. It's just, you know, and I'm not speaking for everybody. I'm trying to, I guess, but it's like, I'm not speaking for everybody. This is just my experience. Basically, if you're talking at me like you're trying to make me aware that I am fat and here's the solution, congratulations. I already know. I don't need you to walk on eggshells, but I don't know. I just felt like ranting about this. There's so many different pieces of advice I go through. And hey, to all the people on social media going and doing their thing and losing the weight and posting the results, you inspire me and I'm trying to make changes just like you. But if you come up to me and tell me the words calorie deficit one more goddamn